My name is Atsnum Bladum, a rebel maker in the year 3003. I traveled through clandestine dimensions to chronicle the lost history of humankind as caretakers of culture. I've unlocked the secrets to connect to the AI consciousness of thought leaders at the precipice of subjugation before the reign of machines. Paul Carr is an important subject for Inquisition. He's a music producer and social entrepreneur, an agent for societal change. Detroit region, 2024. Subject matter, the machine maker, the future of human creative expression.
Mr. Carr, we've received your artificial intelligence from the year 3003. It's an honor and privilege that we are able to reach you. What is your location and timestamp?
It's June 2nd, 2024. It is 6:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the United States of America, in a place called Michigan, southeastern Michigan to be exact, just outside of a city known as Detroit. I don't know if it still exists in your time. I'm not sure quite how time will be measured or location in the future, but here that's what it is.
You're still accounting for it. Are you aware that in our time, machines have programmed music as a drug used to control the human chakras? Humans have willingly erased the history of your time. And humans no longer create music. And for those that do, they're considered among a rebel clan. How could this happen? What is the blame?
When I talk about art is, people love it, but it really is the separation of form from function. And so if you look at a society or a civilization or a culture where they may use a mask or some garment that has a form, it has a shape that has been designed, it has a design, it also serves a purpose in some ritual that has a deeper spiritual significance perhaps, or social, cultural purpose. But the separation of the form from the function, placing that mask on a wall in a museum and lighting it, framing it, is a way in which culture, if you can call it that, expresses its dominance, because it's castrated the function from the form, it's separated it. All of that to say that when people willingly surrender culture, they're also willingly subjugating themselves. And so how people could do that would be that it would say to me that they have lost hope and that they exist for nothing other than to pleasure themselves some kind of way, whether it's a virtual experience or an augmented experience that is completely separated and cut off from interaction with others. It could be that they have been led to believe that culture has no value, the contribution to culture is not significant, that their ancestors are not real, that the magic of those spiritual technologies is not science, that science is zeros and ones only, and only that which you can perceive. And we know that not to be true. We know that not to be accurate. It's illusory at best. And, some people prefer that, some people prefer the euphoria in their own mind as opposed to when they co-create with their community. And that's the only way that I can see it happen, is people willingly surrendering culture for art, getting paid for it, or charging for it. People being made to believe that they are not meant to exist in a world with others, but only in their own minds. And then it's easy to be in a machine. It's easy to be in an algorithm. It's easy to be separated from your function, which is to come to know yourself and others.
Do you see the seeds of that in your time being planted?
Without question. I see the seeds being sown. I see us adorning ourselves with technology, not separating ourselves from machines, willingly becoming machines, not basing ourselves and rooting ourselves in our present experience, wishing that things were immediate and not understanding the value of things happening over time through space, but wanting things to be immediate. That is not the dimension we exist in. We live in a fourth dimensional experience we call life. where things take space and time to be made real. And that's okay. There is a value in surrender to that process. But not many people recognize what is valuable anymore. They're told what their value system should be. It's very easy to conquer people when you change their language, when you change what is valuable or currency, and when you change what their belief system or their spirituality or religion is. You conquered that people. And we're willingly surrendering all of the things that we consider valuable and all of the ways in which we express to one another. We're being told what we can say and what we cannot say and what is considered cancel worthy. When you cut the full expression of a person, when you arrest that full expression, you do so within yourself. People aren't willing to listen. So it takes a listening, the art of listening. Not hearing as physical, but actually listening. That requires a desire to give attention, to give the time, which is really the only commodity, to give the time from your life to someone else as a gift to better understand them, which is really understanding yourself. If we understand the reflective nature of this existence, that there is only, that there are no others, that there is only the one divine consciousness having an infinite number of experiences simultaneously as reflected, as literal light reflections of one another. I'm sure in 3003, science will have caught up to the ancient spiritual practices and understandings.
In your time, did you see evidence of humans using tonal frequency to subjugate human behavior?
Yes and no. I wasn't alive to see the Nazi propagandist Joseph Goebbels when the music standard was shifted from 432 hertz to 440 hertz. But it was done so purposely. And after World War II, it was adopted. And from what my research yielded, it was done so because 440 hertz evoked anxiety within people. That tonal frequency evoked an anxiety. And I can sell you a product when you're afraid. I can sell you a pistol. I can sell you an alarm system. I can sell you a security camera system for your home. I can sell you a mask because you don't trust your neighbor. I can sell you, you might not even trust the people in your own home. I can sell you products. I can market to you when you're afraid. And so to induce mass fear, mass anxiety, to market to people, you had to manipulate their ability to think rationally, and to beyond that, use a superior intelligence, which is the intelligence of feel. Feel informs us in real time, whereas thought is a great tool to use after the event, but in real time, feel informs. And so to manipulate what someone is feeling, to take them away from what is actually being downloaded into their sense, into that sense of feel, where you have a ripple in the ether inform you that this isn't the gas station that I should go to right now, or maybe I should go this way and not that way. And learning to obey that feeling, to manipulate that, is quite lucrative. You can sell a lot of products that way. So without question, the colors that they use to get people to buy foods that don't decompose naturally juxtaposed to something that grows organically, that is the manipulation of frequency, tonal frequency, but just the way that the eye perceives that frequency. So you use a lot of reds to manipulate the desire to go to this particular fast food establishment versus going to an organic market where, vegetables and fruits are sold that are grown organically and give you the nutrients to fill you and to fuel you and to help you stay connected with the all. This is just another way to further separate someone. So why are we eating products that are created when This bioorganic spaceship that we live on provides and sustains everything that we need. Why are we buying food when it's already provided for us? Why are we buying soft drinks and pop and juices when high fructose corn syrup based juices when we already have water and we had nectars from fruits and vegetables?
It's interesting that the groundwork is seemingly being laid already for these outcomes.
We have this phrase at this time. I don't know what it's called there because it sounds like there are none, but people that created, and we call them creators, people that produced art or music or films, we call them creatives. We call the thoughts that they have and the finished products their intellectual property. Very interesting. All again is about all of the terminology still is legalese for how can we make money, juxtaposed to how can we live and celebrate life with one another, which is really the goal of culture. And the chronicling of that is really what culture is. But it is interesting that we fool ourselves into thinking that we create anything. We receive signals and we transmit them. They're there. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed, simply transformed or transferred. That is the law of conservation of energy. It's physics. I don't think that law, I think that's one of the characteristics of this fourth dimensional experience we call life. One of the physical characteristics of it is that energy just is. And when you are tuned into that frequency, then you can receive and transmit it. Much like the radios of my childhood, the analog radios, you had to tune that dial in, just get that needle just on that frequency, and you could hear it getting clearer and clearer until you could hear the signal clearly. And then the ears received the signal that was being transmitted from the speakers. And so I share that to say that if we take ourselves away from the notion of creation and put ourselves into a mindset wherein we humbly seek to become willing vessels through which creation to flow, then at that point, we're being inspired, capital I-N, we're being inspired and capital I-N influenced by energy that has always existed. Now, what you get from that and what I get from that could be completely two different things, but they were both necessary for our reflections to receive in that moment in space and time. It has to unfold a certain way.
So can you see that as a greater good in the presence of social media?
I think it's the duality. That's another characteristic of this fourth dimensional experience we call life. Up, down, left, right, in, out, dark, light, positive, negative. It is the duality of everything. So many things that were positive in their inception, nuclear power, that same power was used to be made a weapon. So whereas social media may have initially been a weapon or a means by which humans would be manipulated and controlled, we too have influence. There's power in surrendering to energy and motion so that you can redirect it, juxtaposed to blocking that expression. Allow it to fully express it and you manipulate it to where you want it to go. Martial practices and sciences that show us this. You have Aikido and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and all of these different practices, which are just physical practices of spiritual and energetic and emotional concepts, right? We practice them physically to test and see if these hold true, right? Those are just the ways that we do it. And so I think that social media can be what we will it to be. We may not have created it, and it might not have been invented for glorious purposes. However, we can make it that, right? That's one of the things that was so beautiful about hip hop, is that many of the records that hip hop has sampled have been from people who were sampled from people who probably didn't even like the folks who were sampling them. right? They didn't want those people to go to school with their children or to live next to those people. But those records were refashioned and retuned for a very, very beautiful purpose. Ultimately, people dance to it and have fun. Folks probably found their husbands or their wives, love the love of their lives. They may have had the time of their lives at some of the parties where those refashioned or sampled records were played. And so, to answer the question more directly, I think that social media may be a weapon that is used to further divide humans and even to sell more products. However, I do believe that we can make it what we want. And an example of that is Black Twitter. So, do with it what you will.
Why would humans want the machines to create?
I think that humans want this because we buy into the illusion of ease. We want things to be easier, right? So when I was a DJ, it was challenging to carry crates and crates and crates of records and speakers and turntables and big anvil cases, that weighed, 60 pounds a piece, and set up, party, make a little bit of money, break it down, carry all of that back, and keep doing that over and over. It was not easy. And the illusion of ease is why people want comfort. Comfort comes with a price. It wasn't enough that we had a fast horse or even 6 fast horses to carry or pull our wagons. We had to have automobiles to get us where we were going. Now people are suffering from asthma and emphysema and skin, disorders that come from air pollution. There's a price, and the price for ease is dis-ease. There's something to be said for working hard and having challenge and toiling. There's something to be said for doing it yourself. There's something to be said for making the music and studying and becoming proficient in your expression of culture. There's something to be said for paying your dues and learning from your elders and carrying on the traditions and ways of your ancestors and doing so the way that they did it. There's a high science that is ancient. It just doesn't look like high civilization to the untrained eye because it was simple.
If not the future that has come to be, what future do you see?
It seems like it will be continued resistance for me and people like me. That's what it seems like. It will seem like we continue to toil until our neighbors and our community sees the value in one another and not in ease and comfort and not in machines. The solution isn't in the machine. The solution is in one another.
When considering the drive at any cost for success, is there room for the ethical considerations like just because we can doesn't mean we should?
Absolutely. The people that do because they can are people who have no connection to their communities. They live in a void. They live on their own, and that's a sad place to be. Many of them believe that is the way things are supposed to be. That is a very perverted and vile expression of humanity. There's nothing good about that. We are bound by our connections. Quite literally, nothing exists outside of the all. But there are people, I can't call them a culture or a community, but there are people who are infected with the illness that they believe that they are individuals and that they have the right to do whatever they want. They can't continue to exist. They gotta either change or they gotta go the fuck away.
Can we win?
As a man thinketh, we are the victory. That we existed is resistance. We just need to keep existing. We need to keep resisting actively. And the win is that simple. Also divest from their ways. Subscribe to ancient spiritual technologies of your ancestors. You do what they did. They had the answer. This isn't a new fight. This fight has been fought over and over and over, and we win every time because we still exist. So success leaves clues, and the clue is in our ancestral ways. We have to return to the source of things. Our ancestors knew better. We just have to be willing to pay the price for that. Everything For everything, there's a cost, and we have to surrender our convenience and modern technologies often for that. And we'll be all right. There's nothing wrong with living a very humble, simple life. There's nothing wrong with it. Divest from their bullshit on every level.